times, bad friends.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Good Times, Bad Friends. Last week, we kicked off our new season, Real Ones, by asking what makes a friendship last. We talked about shared history, loyalty, and why some friendships seem to survive every season of life. Today, we're taking that conversation one step further because just because someone has access to your life doesn't necessarily mean they've earned your trust. So, in a world where everybody follows everybody, knows what you're doing all the time, and can keep up with your life online, what actually separates a real friend from someone who's like simply around. So that's what we're going to get into today. If you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe, dude. We're just going to talk about all the things you want to hear about. So might as well make it easy for yourself to just have it show up on your feed every day. So just hit that little subscribe button and you'll just hang out with us. Right, guys?
Hell yeah.
Right. Like, follow, comment, tell us what to talk about next. No, I feel like we always have really good segues and it kind of sets us up to have good conversations because we were this past weekend. We weren't with everybody, but we were kind of with our group and we went out and played some golf, which was an incredible story to talk about because I absolutely figured out what it was like to blow a lead and have Colin and Doak come back and catch up to us and everything. So that's a fun story if we want to kind of inject that into the conversation a little bit. Alex, you definitely missed one of the best golf matches ever with
It's
people
a
that aren't
classic.
professionals and absolutely suck. Colin got me to back off on the last hole and hit a terrible tee shot, and that's
I
basically
made him
what allowed
laugh
them to
on
tie
the
it. Dude, it was
last
hilarious. It was so funny. Anyway, so we'll kind of save that. We'll kind of shelf that up and bring it back up. No, but I like how we're gonna kind of dive into because about what we were talking about last week. I feel like we have a really good dynamic. Alex has kind of come around as like our friend and met us a little bit later in life. I don't think situations like that are a big deal because kind of the first thing we're going to open with is talking about like, and Alex, I'd love to get your perspective on most of this stuff because most people know where me and Colin are coming from. Grew up with some friends and stuff like that. Still have a really close friendship with those guys, even though our families grow and situations grow and everything. But like, I guess we can start off with you, Alex. Who do you see as like your real friends? Because like we talk about, I think when we ask people this question, of like, hey, and it's people that are mainly on social media, like, who are your real friends? Like, what's the difference between someone that just likes all of your posts and someone that
Mhm.
you can call at 2 a.m. when you have a flat tire and they're going to show up no matter what? You know, you find out who your friends are type deal. So,
Yeah.
like, where's the separation for you, Alex? Like, who are your day ones that you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning? Who are the people where it's like, we're acquaintances at best, even though you may see them a lot on my social media,
Yeah. That's a tough question for me to answer because I don't know that I have a ton of day one friends. I think the reason, well, there's probably multiple reasons for it, but I think part of the reason for that is because I moved states in like fifth grade and
Mhm.
then started meeting new people. And then halfway through sixth grade, moved to another new school. So there was a lot of like early turmoil in that time where you're normally building those day one friends. So I guess I would say unfortunately, because hearing y'all's story and like seeing how y'all been friends for, I don't know, 25, 30 years, I'm not exactly sure. To me, that seems like the best way to grow up or like an ideal way to grow up. So, like from the outside looking in, that's something that I aspire to or wish that I could have grown up with. But to me, to say who would be my day one friends or like who I would call on would mostly be family because I don't really have any of those people that I've been lifelong friends with. So, yeah, that's always kind of a tricky question to answer because I don't have a ton of super long term friends.
Hey, you can call us. That's why we're here.
know?
Call us.
You got a friend in me, buddy.
Dude, I'll be the Buzz to your Woody, my guy.
No, no
No, but
joke.
yeah.
I think
Well, I
Colin is
mean,
probably one of my longer running friends because we met back in 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, I think we're at a 10-year reunion.
That
dang,
sounds insane, but yeah, we're around 10 years, so
that's
that's
wild.
one of my longer running friends, yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but then, like, it's one of those things, sometimes you talk really often, sometimes you don't talk often at all, and then all of a sudden, like, you blink and it's been 10 years, but, like, for me, I think it's kinda funny to see that perspective because, like, with us having that really, really good friendship, like, I'll be honest with you, like, the friendship with my family is not as strong because I've had friends like this to where we've left, but we've always reconnected. So even though I'm 4 hours away from my friends, we've made it work a little bit more often than, like, me seeing my family. So in the same regard as you being able to say that, like, we're almost vice versa to where, like, we're probably gonna hang out much more often with our friend group than we are with our family, I guess, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So, like, I feel like do you trade one for another? Like, with you moving around schools and everything like that, like, is it one of those things where, like, you knew you could always count on your family, therefore you didn't really, like, make yourself vulnerable to have friends because you thought you were going to leave? Like, what was kind of the thought knowing that you were going to stay a little bit closer to your family?
It could be, yeah. I guess the process of moving makes you closer because that's when you move, that's the only thing you do have. So I guess in a weird way, yeah, you like you said, you trade off the friendships for the family. On the the communication side and like keeping things going, I have always struggled with that. I don't really know why. I've never dove into why I don't like communicate more often or keep those like longer term friendships going. So there's definitely been times where me and Colin probably didn't talk for like 6 months, a year, something like that, but it just always comes back around. Like,
Crazy. We're like, all right, let's play video games.
yeah, we're good, dude. Are you getting on tonight? And we haven't talked in 6 months. So, or like want to go play disc golf, or just whatever random thing pops up. So,
But like that's the beauty of like having good friends. Like if you can just pick back up with someone after not seeing them.
100%.
I was having this conversation with someone at lunch today of like the friendships that we've had over the years are closer because we've seen each other in every life stage, and not just like pre-married, married with kids, but like, when you're finding yourself in high school and the stupid decisions you make, or the lowest moments after a breakup, or when you get depressed in college because your whole life has just moved somewhere else, and then getting through that, you've worked through these life stages with people. And that's pretty rare to have seen this certain person that you're not married to or that you're not related to have these up and downs and get through with them. So now you're able to like not like shepherd other people, but have conversations from experience with other people when you're making new friends or making new acquaintances of like, yeah, man, this stinks, but like I'm here to get through it with you because I've done it before, kind of thing.
Well, and do you think, like another point that we were going to kind of bring up, do you think, and I know obviously kind of, I guess take yourself, maybe remove yourself a couple steps from like the friendship you and Alex have, say for like, for
Easy.
example, easy. Let me take myself straight out of the friendship. No,
Thought
but
you
like
never
someone that's
asked.
a little bit more of like an acquaintance that you never got to like want to play video games with, you never connected with. Like, do you think social media and texting, do you think it changed what friendship looked like? Or more importantly, do you think it makes people feel like they have more friends than they truly have? Like, what do you think today's kind of younger generation would define as having like a true friendship? Like, has that been kind of watered down a little bit?
I think as someone who's not on social media, my guess is that it does like loosen up the definition a little bit, or maybe you almost put them into like different buckets. Like I have my real life friends that I see every so often, and then I have this like full online community that likes and comments, and like they know what's going on in my life. They see all these things going on, and so I have like this little support community. Or I know people like to post, oh, I'm feeling frustrated, and they just want their online community to like support them and be like, oh,
Oh,
it's
what's
fine.
wrong?
It's their fault. Like
Yeah.
you're
You're
perfect.
like, boo freaking who.
You don't even know what's
Not
going
Alex.
on.
You gotta freaking
Hey.
Harry Potter. You gotta go through a
Hey,
Harry Potter
pray
book
for
to meet
me.
Alex.
What's
Yeah.
wrong? I don't really want to get into it. All right.
I don't. Okay, well then
It's
I'm so sorry I
personal.
asked. Like, okay,
It's
whatever.
personal. Yeah.
Just give me that like, and I think it's gonna help. I just need a little dopamine in my system.
Yeah.
No, but like, do you think people get disappointed by that? Like, do you think that's why people cling so hard to social media because they feel like somebody hits that like button and they're like best friends, or I've known each other a little bit longer than, or this is a person that will always leave that comment. Like, are people leading themselves down a path of fake friendship, or do you think that they ever realize that, or like, can they ever make that connection that this person, like, if I had legitimately answered that back and say, hey, like, I really want to talk about this. What's your number? Like, can you come see me? And then they say no. Like, are people just setting themselves up for a future of fake friendships?
Dude, I think so we've all seen people who are like not in the greatest relationship with their spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, but they're posting pictures like they're the happiest people in the world. So I think initially people are posting that is not genuine, expecting all these non-genuine, I think the average time on a post is like 1 to 3 seconds. So there's not a lot of genuine connection. You're just like tapping and moving on. So there's just this disconnect right here. And I was reading a book earlier and it was talking about like, is it truly social media anymore? Because if I'm on TikTok all day or on Reels, there's nothing really social happening. I'm with myself watching
exactly.
videos. And so now we've constructed this, like what was meant to be like, oh, I'm going to catch up with my great aunt that I've never seen before, to watching this Pokemon battle that was like 15 minutes long that I just looked up and missed. And we're calling it social media. Like there's nothing social. Like we're getting so divided and fake. And I think that's where a lot of friendships are falling apart. And we learned that with COVID, whenever like people were either forced to be in households with people they've never talked to, or
Yep.
forced to reach out to people and they didn't know how to talk to anyone. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I think people are disingenuous on social media to start. and then they care too much about what people think, even though they don't really care about the situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, people always use that quote about social media that we're the most connected we've ever been. We have iPhones, we have computers. Like Alex can be all across the United States of America, and I can get a hold of him in 2 seconds. But we're the most disconnected socially that we've ever been. So, like, you kind of leading into the next segment, like, we always think that we have access to people, but does that equal having someone's loyalty? Like, just because I can reach out to you, just because even like me and Alex, we can play video games together, but there's still that line of like, and I get it, Alex. Like, I care about you, you care about me. But if I'm like, hey, dude, my kid's sick, I need you to come watch. You be like, listen, dude, I got a lot going on here, and let's see what Colin's doing first. So, like, do you think people get lost in that realm because there's not only people on social media, on the internet, people that they can't see that will always agree with them? Like, do they start to blur the lines of, I just want someone to agree with me no matter how I feel, no matter what I'm saying? I just know that I'm going to get that like from them. So I have access to that person. But what happens when I don't have loyalty from people? Like, I can't get truth behind love or anything like that. Like, people are just validating me 24/7. Like, do you think that does a little bit of damage?
Would like to think that like a logical, sensible adult would be able to differentiate what the value of a like on social media is versus the value of like a trusted friend or one of those like OG, day one people. Is that what actually happened?
But
Maybe not always. My wife had some friends in town this past weekend, and there was some kind of drama that this
Ooh.
girl who used to be best friends with this girl, they're not friends
spill the
anymore.
tea, baby. Spill the
And so
tea right here, live on
she
Good Times
started
Bad Fest.
Name drop.
so she started, I don't even know their names. She started calling people trying to figure out what happened. And it was like, oh, this girl um, got married and like started living a little bit different. And this other girl was single and partying, blah, 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 and posting social media stuff. And the first girl didn't like a picture that she posted. And now they're no longer friends. This girl was in her wedding, like legit
Yeah.
best friends. And she didn't like something on social media. And so now they're no longer friends. That's the
No,
story
that
they
is
told.
That makes sense.
And I was like, what? Like,
totally
what?
checks out. That's completely
That makes
valid.
sense to me. Like the photo.
Yeah,
How long does
like,
it take to like someone's photo?
Yeah.
but like,
Sorry, we're not friends anymore. What?
exactly. But like, how many of those friendships do you, well, quote unquote friendships, do you think exist now? Like, and then imagine that all the friendships I thought I ever had ended that quickly, and then I need to go into the world and find a spouse, or I need to find a job, and I need to trust an employer. Like, I think we are seeing a lot of very paranoid people in society today. So is that an extrapolation of having those surface level, very fake, fragile relationships built off that? Like, do you think that leads into other things in other people's lives too?
For sure. I think talking about your question, like, does being around connected someone equal loyalty? I think it's the opposite. I think
Mm.
if you have Snapchat and your messages go away, your loyalty is probably going down pretty quick. If you
Yeah.
have all of these apps that you are sitting on the same couch as your girlfriend or fiance or spouse, but y'all are sitting on two different corners and their DMs are looking different than yours, that could mess up some
Mm.
loyalty. I think
Oof.
access really hurts loyalty, and I think social media is a tool meant to divide friendships and households no matter how you paint it. So I think that brings up the question of like, just because someone follows you on, they know that you have football on Thursday and Friday and they know you have practice on Saturday, just because someone knows your schedule, do
Oof.
they know you, or are they just up to date with what you're giving the
Mm.
world? If that makes
Do they
sense.
know you, or do they just know about you? Do
Yeah,
they
yeah,
know
yeah,
what
yeah.
your bio says? What do you think,
Yeah.
Alex?
Well, to me, I just don't understand people's like desire or need to post everything on social media. Like you are giving these people that don't truly care about your life access to every little piece of information that
Everything.
happens in your
Like
day.
tagging
And
locations and everything
yeah,
like that. I don't understand. It's like, don't tell somebody where you are every single
With a
Tuesday.
picture of your kid.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wild to
So
me.
excited for first day at Houston Elementary School. Like what? And these
What?
people don't even care. They just hit like, and like you said, they just scroll to the
Yeah,
next
they
thing and
just keep
scroll to
on
the
moving.
next thing. And so we're
But
we're putting out very like what should be confidential or important information basically for free. Like most people aren't getting paid from what they put out there,
Mm-mm.
and you're just giving it away.
yeah, well, then too, like, you get the validation of all I need is for someone to see my post and like it. Then you try to take that to real life, and it doesn't happen like that. You try to go up to someone and you try to have that very empty conversation, and then you're met with any kind of like force or someone's just not really feeling it, or you just feel like you can't get any traction with like a friend, a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, or anything like that. And then Colin, you were talking about that too. Like you know someone, you live with someone, you are in a relationship with someone, but do you truly know them? Like you sit apart on your phone all day. Like they know your schedule, you know their schedule, but do they know what's in your heart? Do they know you as a person? Can they be the one that knows something? Like my wife knows when something's going on with me before sometimes I even know what's going on. Like half the time I don't even know what we're doing on the weekend until she tells me on Saturday morning, like, here's what we're doing. So it's like, then you can't find that with someone that you care about. So I keep like dragging this on. I go from like friend, friend groups, what you're trying to find, and then obviously to relationships. But like I feel like that's where you get to the root of the problem is like nobody gets anything real. So like that can really compound into a very sad and disappointing life if you take that too far. Like now you're sitting across the room from someone that you love. And like you said, Colin, like y'all are both on your phone doing two different things, talking to two different types of people, probably driving a wedge within that relationship. Like that is a dangerous slippery slope to go down in today's world, man. Like that's and then I always, and this is the last kind of point I'll make that'll get a little bit off topic, but I always connect that to my kids. Like obviously we can think about like in 10 years, what's that going to look like when they are going to be around people that are going to have phones and access to things that I don't necessarily want my kid to have access to. But when he goes to school and that kid does have a phone with unlimited amount of apps and all the screen time that he wants, now what are other people going to give your kids access to that you don't want them to have access to? That's kind of where my mind goes. That's kind of the last little off trail thing that I think about. But like, does that ever cross your mind a little bit, Alex?
Well, following that same thing, I have a question for you then. So, as your kids are getting a little bit older, what do you teach them is the most important thing when they're building relationships or trying to build those lifelong friends? Like, is it how fast they text somebody back? Is it remembering
Wow.
little details? Like, what truly builds relationship then? If I think we're agreeing it's not social media, so then what is it?
So for me right now, the thing that I enjoy the most is just watching my kids play. So like for me and my boys, like we have intent conversation. Now I could be getting him in trouble. And most of the time I am getting him in trouble for doing something like not eating his food or anything like that. But it's the time where there's no TV on. We are outside. There's a blow up pool. There's a slide. There's something like something is going on to where we are connecting and having a conversation one on one, whether we're playing something or we're doing it through playing something, or we're just having a conversation about what we did, what we're going to do, or what we are doing currently. So I think for people, it just takes time. And I think we're in a microwave society where nothing we do takes any amount of time at all to give us everything that we want at the tip of at the tips of our fingers. But unfortunately, on the flip side of that, that's exactly how you build something that's going to last is it takes time. You have to sharpen the axe. You have to spend 5 hours sharpening the axe, and then you have to take a couple of swings and cut the tree down. So I think it's the people that expect it to happen in 30 seconds when in all reality, we're going to have to spend about 300 hours together to build that relationship. So I think for me, what I'm going to teach my kids is unfortunately, it just takes time. And I think that time is going to reveal the people that don't really want the best for you or just want access to you versus the people that actually want to stay around and build that relationship and build that friendship that's going to last 25, 30 years down the road. And it's going to be something that you can count on too. So unfortunately, it's something that's not an easy answer, but my easy answer is it's just going to take time. It's going to be intentional time spent with the people, and then you're going to figure out who really cares for you, and you're going to figure out who just wants to take advantage of you at the end of the day. So for me, I just try to teach my kids like you need to have the most intent time that you possibly can with that person. And right now, you're around people that you love, and then unfortunately, right now, I'm just trying to toughen him up a little bit because he's going to get around people that are going to completely take advantage of him from the first interaction that he has with someone, and he's got to be able to deal with that. So have I prepared him to do that? I don't know.
So let's circle back.
Yep. That was
So
good. That was a great question though, Alex.
we're gonna stick with like the friend side of thing. I think our next segment is family based. Let's talk about the people that staying on access doesn't equal loyalty. Let's talk about the people that you're around all the time that have no family relation to you, like coworkers. Let's talk about people that you're seeing out and about just because they know your schedule or just because you spend every single day with them. Can they still truly not know you? Because I know sometimes you just got to make friendships and stuff happen at work to keep the peace, to make sure that, I can go to this person when I need something at work. They don't know anything about me except for I'm going to get this job done at this time. So is there benefit in having circles other than your close friend group, other than your family? Or is it, where do you put your time and effort if you only have 100% of a cup a day and you have to pour little by little out for everybody?
It's a good question. I think I think
Thank
by
you.
default you have to pour like some time into these cups outside of like family and stuff, because whether I like it or not, I'm going to spend more of my time with my coworkers than just about anyone else. So I think you'd be like silly or wrong to not pour time into those relationships. And you can pour into those relationships without sharing like personal details and stuff. It's like Justin said, it takes time, right? Just working on projects together. Like that's how I got close with a lot of people I work with, is just because we have a common project and we're working towards it together. And so naturally, like a closeness comes from doing that. So yeah, I think you have to pour time into those other cups if you want to enjoy what takes up most of your time.
Yeah. And I mean, you you're gonna get and give the support you need with your family and your friends, but there are gonna be times like us in our profession with me and Colin, and then Alex, obviously too, you're working a little bit more. I think you need those people to be able to depend on while you're at work, because like one of the topics that it was talking about is like, are you friends with someone just because you spend time with them, or do some of the more difficult times create those friendships a little bit quicker? And I think that if you go through a few hard times together, I think that that can automatically draw you a little bit closer to someone a little bit faster than if you just spent 10,000 hours doing something easy with them. So I think, like you said, Alex, I think you need to pour a little bit into that cup. Now, how much you pour into that just depends on how much time. And when you are pulled in 20 different directions, you're only going to have so much time to go outside of the stuff that matters. So I think that's why, kind of drawing back to me, like the friendship that we have with our little group right now, and with you too, Alex, with our little podcast and everything. Like even this, like this is therapy for me sometimes, because I think you need to get in certain situations with certain people that are going to be able to tell you certain things, agree with you, have great conversations, and then obviously correct you when you need to be corrected. But I think no matter what situation I go into, I want people that are going to be loyal. I want people that are going to be genuine. Like I think if I went to work and I was around a bunch of fake people who were just validating me all day, hopefully I could check that pretty quick when I came home to my genuine family, or I talk to my genuine friends, or I talk to the people that actually will be a true friend to me, if that makes sense. So I think you got to be careful where you spend your time too, because if you're at a job and there are certain people that are kind of drawing on some negative things from you, and then you take that home, I think that's 100% on you. So I think, Colin, like you said, you only have so much of one cup to pour, but I think you got to be careful how much you let out with certain people at the end of the day. So if you have a small circle, I think you keep it small and just use that cup for the people that truly matter.
Yeah, I think our bodybuilding friend that came on the podcast said it best. Like, I think some people are like, you know what? I need to take care of me first. So I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. I'm going to work out really hard. Then I'm going to go to work and I'm going to drink caffeine all day. Then I'm going to, crash and then come home. And then by the time I'm home and eating dinner, I have no energy left for my family because I've given it elsewhere through the day. So prioritizing where you spend your energy is a learned trait. It's not something that's easy,
Yeah.
but you have to be intentional with it. And last thing I'll say about the access doesn't equal loyalty is you can have friends who are around when it's convenient. So always have access to you. But if it's convenient and they're there, I don't equate that with like loyalty in a sense, because
100%.
if Alex drives by my house and I go out and say hello, of course we see each other, but it's because I have to take a step and Alex had to drive 5 hours. And like I've had to grow in that aspect of like, we have a friend who literally Garrett came and installed my water softener from Salina all the way to Austin just
Dude just
because
loads his
we
whole family up.
we called them. Yeah, it was like two kids, giant metal barrels in the back, and just driving all the way to Austin just because it was like, hey, I was like, we'll host you, we'll do all of these things, but like, no matter what, Garrett will go to the ends of the earth to help somebody.
Mm.
And I was like, man, what a good example that I need. So I like tried to started doing that over the past year, I think, of like trying to be intentional with my time, going above and beyond, because that's what matters to people. And that's like kind of going to transition us to like who gets the real you in your life.
Yep.
So you can be so surface with all these people when it's convenient, but when, crap hits the fan and it's time to see who truly deserves the access that you have, if we're talking about the cup metaphor, like who gets to see the real you. And I think that is more than just, hey, I'm here for you. I think we're all, especially as men, like there's not a lot of like vulnerable times where people get to see the real you. And I think society's gotten better about that. But you're not just going to be like this coworker that I can't stand. I'm like, yeah, dude, like me and my wife are fighting. Yeah, whatever. Like, who are you going to in hard times? And how has you been trained by that relationship, I guess, to see the real you?
Well, I think the bigger thing for me is try to step out of my comfort zone just to say I have more people to depend on. Does that make sense? So it kind of leads a little bit to, and like as I've gotten older, I draw back on the people that make me better. So like Garrett Carter makes me a better person because I know he's going to load up and go 18 hours just to go see me if he needs to do that. So that then makes me a better person. It holds me accountable and it challenges me to be a better person, a better friend, a better husband, father, and everything like this. So I think if you just give yourself like a basic litmus test, if the people around you challenge you to be better, then those are your real friends right there. So whether you go through good times or hard times, you go through good times with bad friends, whatever you decide to do, I think
Pocket.
That's a bad friend right
do
there.
you like that, Ezra? Yeah. Everybody needs a couple bad friends. No, but like like it's the friend you've asked 1,000 times to hang out, or you've asked them for. They always ask you for something, but then the first time you present them with a situation to be able to help you, it's oh man, I'm busy. Oh man, I would love to, but then right after that, once again, they need a favor from you. They need something done. Like everything is just a one-way street. And I think that that's the easiest thing that you can look at is, does that person make you better? Do they hold you accountable? Do they convict you to be a better person for them too?
Sometimes it's just like it's hard to show up to, but like you said, Justin, it's a pattern of like, do they never show up when you need them to, or do they sometimes make that sacrifice and like make that drive out there, or do that hard thing even when it's uncomfortable for them because they know that you would do it in return? I think there's definitely like a two-way street there. Is that something Garrett would do like for anybody, or is that because y'all have this like built-in close friendship? Like, is that only for his circle, or is he just that guy all the time?
He's just that
I
guy all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah. I wanna think outside of the box and, like this is a great example too, is, like, Garrett lives in a place where he's got a small circle of friends that he's got there that are outside of us. Now, I think
Mm.
there are levels to it, like, Garrett would do anything for anybody, but, like, I think there's a difference between, let's just say, like, a newer friend calling him and Colin Rutherford calling him at 2 AM. Like, I think there's a much quicker response because there's a little bit more of that hard time. There's a little bit more callous built up, I guess, if that makes sense. So I think there are levels with him, but he just goes to show that that's a good example that like he's allowed new people in the life. But I'm sure if you were to go over and see those people, they're a lot like the friends that he just wants to have around him to make him better. So I think you're going to see some patterns in the new people that you may bring around. Like you may have had the same 3 friends your entire life, and I think that's awesome. Or you may have 35 friends, but I think at the end of the day, the ones you can truly count on, I think there's a pattern of the type of people and personality that you keep around you. Like, and that'd be a good question to ask y'all. Like, do you see a pattern in the people that you tend to keep closer to you? Like, yes, I get that they're family, you share blood, genes, stuff like that. You have really, really close friends, but like, what are some of the patterns of the people that you see that you just kind of gravitate towards and want to keep them around as, a little bit closer to have a little bit more access to you?
Yeah, I heard a preacher say that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most like of your time with. So if you
I
look at the
love that.
5 people you spend most time with, you're the average of those people. So that's when you have to do a self-reflection. Like, one, figure out who those people are. Don't say I love these people. Like who are you genuinely around all the time, and have their traits become your traits. And if that's good, or that could be real bad. And the good thing about life is you don't have to stay in those 5 people circle. I think
Mhm.
I think high school Colin, college Colin, and today Colin, those circles have not just like changed, but like I don't think they would even talk to each other. And I think growing up is good, but I know that if you allow everybody to have access to your life, there's going to be people who want to see you fail. And so if your circle is half of people who want to build you up and a couple people that want to see you fail, well, the average of that is just you're pretty flat in your life. And are you creating flat people in the conversations you have, or do you want to have a circle that you're building people up? And I think that's why we do this podcast, because we got to meet some crazy cool people that we still talk to, but everyone's trajectory is up. We have authors, we have hunters, we have real estate agents, we have preachers. We just have people who want to see good in others. And I think we've made our circle kind of resemble that.
So Colin, I'm interested because you said your circle has changed throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to name who like the 5 people are, but does that include that like OG friend group? Or would you say that OG friend group is not the 5 people that you consider like your circle? Like, are those kind of 2 different entities? Does that make sense?
Dude, I will
Yeah.
cut you off if you answer this wrong.
Yeah, I think 4 of
No
them
more
rock.
accent. 4 of them are the coolest people I ever met. One of them is a real douche.
Like,
But-
are they just kind of always there to the side because they've been your friends for life? But then you have the people that you spend the most time with. Is that
Well, I would say even in high school, those 5, the 5 of us weren't always consistent, right? I think
100%.
sometimes, high school friend groups, Alex, I'm gonna burst your bubble. I wasn't the most athletic in high school.
no way?
Yeah, the state
Dude,
ring
what?
behind me, I was eating hot dogs on the sidelines when we achieved that.
100-meter record at your school.
Yeah, of
Most
like,
touchdowns in a
when did-
season?
When
yeah,
did-
leaving
what-
school the
wait.
fastest. Alex, I told you that we weren't supposed to bring it up.
Dude, that was 10 years ago. That was the
Yeah.
whole basis of our friendship.
Yeah. When I
told me
asked
you
you to
were
play
an
in your
Olympian.
murals,
That's the
I
only
was
reason I
lying.
liked you.
I used to call you Colin Usain Bolt Rutherford. I thought.
Yeah, and you still should. But I think in high school, even our group we would go off in different areas. I think we would have different friend groups. Some of us would have high moments where we would, want to see the best in each other, and low moments were like, oh, well, let's hang out with the wrecking crew, as they called it in high school, which, well, it wasn't my group of friends, but, you get to dabble in other groups. And then I go to college where Cody was one of my high school friends who I went to college because he went there. He was the track star. And when we first got there, like he was, brand new world. He was with all of his athletes. I was with,
The nerds.
yeah, I didn't want to say
It was
that.
just like a 22 Jump Street
Yeah.
situation.
we got called NARPs because we were non-athletic regular people. So like there was a separation, but
Cody
like,
was over there. You're like, dude, what? He's like, shut up, Norp.
but still, even in those moments where I felt little, like Cody would still like bring me around, and like his roommates were all on the track team, so I got to like hang out with him in different aspects. But naturally, you're gonna have different groups, and then when you get older, now that we all live in different places, like I think of my work friends, like the school's full of teachers, but I want to be around people who are going to push these kids, and one,
Yeah.
not take everything too seriously because that life would be boring, but 2, like want the best for these kids, because if you're not trying to be the best at your job, it's kind of a waste of time. But at the same time, I can reach out to Du Bois group text and be like, hey, like, Justin, what do you think about this book we're reading? Or what do you think about this practice plan? And we talk about coaching stuff all the time, just because I know it's not an echo chamber. I've been not called dumb, but had honest conversations about things that we were doing. And I think that was the most important. Of 30 years of friendship can give you brutal honesty and you not get your feelings hurt and leave the group text.
No, and like, ooh. So okay.
Be careful.
I know. No. I do agree with that. Like, I think you always have those people to fall back on. But as you go through different stages, no, I wasn't going to say anything too crazy. I was just kind of thinking about how to
Well, I heard
phrase this question, kind of bleed
Anything
into
you
it.
say before the word "but" is a lie. So that was what I've heard. So go
But
ahead.
I love you so much, and I'm so glad I'm not that fifth guy. But anyway, no, but so when you do think about someone that kind of comes in, whether it's in those different stages, and you kind of think, and it is so funny to think about like the different stages that we've gotten to, and you're so right. Like if I saw my high school and college stuff right now, I would be so annoyed at that person. And I think I still kind of drag some of those traits forward. Like I see people just being idiots in public, and I'm like, dude, you're such a clown. And then my wife will gently remind me that I was that clown at one time. So I think it's always good. I think every stage has taught me something, and I'm so glad I'm in the stage I'm in right now. But so kind of drawing on, whether it's someone that's made it through all those stages, or someone that you meet now, or someone that you meet in the workplace, like someone that you kind of keep around, like, can someone be a good person, somewhat reliable, but still not deserve access to your life? Like, do you get to the point, especially now as an adult, you do get into a profession where you meet other working adults, you're just naturally going to meet more people. That is what it is, especially when you move out of the town you grew up in, you start experiencing new things. Like inevitably you're going to have a conversation with a stranger, maybe build a little bit of a relationship. But like, have you ever had to toe that line of, man, this is a really good person, but like, maybe they don't deserve to have access. Maybe I'm not going to trust them. I don't have enough in my cup or anything like that. Like, have you ever had that situation, or maybe y'all have that situation before?
I'm trying to think of, like, I know that if like you are my friend or acquaintance or someone I know, but you are like vocally behind our back, bad mouthing my family, like even though we have access all the time, you don't like always deserve my access. And
Yeah.
I was talking to Doke about this on the golf course, and I was like, you can forgive somebody, but not give them access to your life. And I think
Yeah.
all of these conversations that we've had so far are from like a positive standpoint. But I think there's people that listen to this podcast who have been like hurt by family or hurt by a sibling or hurt by someone outside. And they would be like, no, like this person does not deserve my availability or my access. And I would say, you're genuinely correct with that statement. Like forgiveness doesn't mean like acceptance. Like you don't have to just be, okay, my parent abused me as a child and I forgive them. I can invite them back into my life. And like you should not do that. I think unless you have a genuine relationship you built with them, they don't have to have access to you just because you've forgiven them or because they're around all the time. If you have a creepy uncle and you have a brand new kid, probably like keep them on the other side of the room, right? Like you
Yeah,
don't just
stand outside and look through the window. Let's not get any
yeah.
closer than that.
Proximity doesn't always gain access, and I think that is true even if you have no hatred or disregard for them in your heart, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's a tough situation. Like Alex, you can kind of expand on this, but like maybe like a wife or a friend of a friend, like they come around and you're like, man, like I know this person has access, but I'm like, man, there's some huge red flags in some people. So like I've had a couple situations like that. Like, have you ever had anything like that, Alex, or was it just kind of like the same situation as Colin?
Yeah, I don't know that
Colin's
we've
about to,
had
Colin just
a,
dropped something, so obviously he thinks it's about him. So you can go ahead on that if you want to.
Okay. Choose your words.
I don't know that we've had any like particular situations like that that I can think of yet. But I think if something like that were to arise, I could see that friendship naturally kind of slowly dying off. Like, for example, if it was, say, a work friend of Karina's, I think we would just slowly, we wouldn't show up for that person, right? Like, we wouldn't show up, we wouldn't invite them over. So you would kind of like slowly, naturally put up walls that I think would like kill the friendship over time. If it's like, hey, this is kind of weird, but it's not an immediate cutoff type of thing. I think
Mhm.
you just kind of slowly raise your guard and keep that person at arm's distance, which naturally, if you keep them far away, then it's never really going to progress into like a true friendship.
Yeah. Well, I think you see qualities in people, but then that kind of shifts into a little bit of self reflection, like what you were talking about, Colin. Like, can you be someone that's worth trusting? So it's like I feel like you can see traits in people all day long, but like everybody wants to find that loyal friend, but at the end of the day, like, do you guys ever find yourself thinking like, am I someone that someone can trust? Like that's my biggest fear is like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, especially like I always talk, obviously with our friend group that we have. I never want to be the guy that's like, well, I expect all these things, but I'm the dude that wouldn't drop my hat to go do anything. So like, do you guys ever find yourself in the situation of, can you turn the question back around on yourself? Like, are you someone that someone would put you in that friend group or that someone would want to like, are you the guy that someone wants to call or are you the guy that when they see their name they're like, I don't know, he's kind of 50-50, you know?
Dude, yeah, I wish I could like read my own like credit report or like my friendship credit
Yeah.
report, whatever that is.
I need
like,
I need a Carfax on my loyalty, please.
yeah, I need to get it from like 3 sources. I need to average the score out.
Chat GPT, tell me how loyal I am. Great question, Justin. You suck
Yeah.
as a friend.
No, I need that for sure because I don't know. I feel like normally we are maybe more harsh on ourselves than is reality. But I often wonder or question, like, do I show up often enough? Or I like to think that if somebody like called me in the middle of the night, I'd be there if I woke up. But
Hey, my
but I
phone
don't
is
know
not
if I
on ring,
truly
so like
am.
I'm
Like,
sorry, guys. Like my phone is not on ring, by the way.
no, far away. I don't want to hear it at night. But even if it's a time where I'm awake and I see it in my head, I want to be that person, but I don't know if I always am because I think it's easy to be like, oh, I have to go pick up my kid. I have to go do this thing. When in reality, I could probably work it out. Like I could, if I wanted to, I could probably make it work. I think what it ultimately comes down to me or comes down to for me is who's the person on the other side. Like there's some people that I know if they called me, I would answer. And there's some people that if they called me, eh,
I'd be like, dang,
eh,
man, I'd happen to be so busy during that time.
I'm out of
so
minutes.
sorry.
yeah.
I'm out of minutes. I gotta go back down to the cricket store and buy a couple
The
more.
bank's empty. You haven't been making any deposits, so
That's
you
right.
can't withdraw right now. I don't know, Colin. How do you feel?
I think that I was the selfish person for the longest. And I think it was literally as recent as like the last year and a half. Like I've had to have the mindset of like, okay, you need to be more intentional with the people who would like drop the hat for you. Because I was always like, yeah, we'll go to Friendsgiving when everybody is already gonna be there. And so like a
Yeah.
lot of these things I've been saying like are to myself. And I've been trying to be better. Like, all right, I'll come to you. Let's go golfing. I'll come to we'll host so
Mm.
that we can all do this instead of me just going somewhere. I think of like our friend Cody, we talked about it earlier, of like he was like through high school and college, like he did so much for me. And I was like pretty it was pretty one-sided for a while, and I had to, like, take a step back and have that realization of being like, "Man, we you owe him a lot." And so this was, like, a more recent revelation of my life where, like, you need to just show up for people, and so that's why I think I coach so hard, and I think that's why I do so much extra things with my teams because 'cause I'm like, I've seen what it looks like to just receive, 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 and not give,
Mm.
so I want to start, doing that to my kids and especially, like, my friend group and, like, well, then when you came to the ranch with us, Alex, like that was a blast. And I was just like, every time we hang out, I want it to be like, hey, we intentionally, not just you, but like we want you to be here. If you're here with us, it's for a reason, not just by happenstance. And so intentionality has been a big part of my like past couple years.
For sure. No, I
Dude,
definitely
and y'all
struggled with that too. Like I'm the first guy to take a handout or like somebody will suggest a plan. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm so reluctant to be the first person to offer up something, but I'll be the first guy to be like, yeah, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, yeah, dude, I would love for you to come down and see me. Yeah, yeah, go ahead and stop when you're on your way down. But like, how many times can I turn that back around and say, Colin, I'm driving to you. Colin, I'm coming to meet you. Like, I'll come get you. I'll come do this. Like, when does it turn into let me do something instead of let someone do something for me? So that's kind of the biggest thing I've struggled with for sure.
and y'all had no reason like hosting me for such a cool experience that weekend, and it wasn't just y'all, like it was y'all's original friend group that I don't even know that was like a part of that experience. So yeah, I think
Dude,
about that a lot. That was really cool.
you honestly had probably 2 of the coolest interactions because the first time you came up here where
Oh
we
yeah.
are right now, you go out there and you go hunt, shoot a gun for the first time, which I didn't know as you're holding the gun in your hand and to
Not
kinda
just a gun,
have
like a suppressor,
yeah,
red
Do
dot,
it.
night
yeah,
vision.
Laser,
assault
yeah,
rifle,
dude.
yeah, thermal scope on it, like
Yeah.
the full shebang, like you're holding the Cadillac of guns for your first time.
And I have no
And then
clue. Like
and then the second
it's
and then the
just
second
it's what
yeah,
y'all do.
you're just winging it, dude. You're like, "So this is just a Tuesday night, huh?" And then the
Yeah.
next time you go down to a 10,000 acre ranch and are just driving around, honestly, with people that you don't really know that well, who also just have guns all over the place. And
Pointed every
you're
direction except for at people.
that's a
Yeah.
pretty big yeah, that's a pretty big trusting moment for you, Alex. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this random place that I have no idea where it is. I get no cell service. And yeah, let me just hop in this buggy with, with a bunch of random
Yeah. It was a little
with
scary.
weapons, man. No, but that was like I think that's also I just think you are who your actions represent you as. So for us to not kind of avoid that or to not talk about it and gossip about it, like, oh, do we really want Alex to go? It's like, dude, come with us. Because if we aren't good enough people to allow someone now, like it does it happen every single time? No, and it's just kinda one of those things, like, it's just one of those access things and comfortability and everything like that, like, are we the type of people that can just allow someone to come hang out with us, have a good time? If it happens again, awesome, it's not gonna happen once a week, like, it's not one of those things,
Right.
but are we good enough people to where we can turn around into ourselves and say, "Hey, let's invite this guy, let's let him have a really, really good time, come into a very close group that he hasn't been a part of, but honestly, feel like you didn't skip a beat. Like it almost felt like you had been there 10 times up to that point, but that was literally the second time that we've ever hung out. And so, like, how
Yeah.
good of a person can you be towards people, whether they're someone you've known for 20 years or someone you've known for 2 weeks? And can you still invite them down and be a good person, host them, have good conversations, break bread with them, and build a relationship with them? I think that says a lot about who you are as a person as well. If you could do that with somebody. So, with that being said, I think this is it mainly because I don't want to have to answer this question first. So, what's one habit that you guys have changed to become a better friend? Colin, I know you kind of harped on where you feel like you were struggling,
Mhm.
but Alex, what's one habit that you feel like you've changed to become a better friend to just anybody, whether it's someone that is a day one or it's someone that you've just met a day ago?
This one's definitely still a work in progress, but this kind of goes back to the whole idea of like access and how much access we allow people. But I like kind of hate replying to text messages, and I hate the expectation that like as soon as you get a text message, you need to
Mm.
reply within an hour, 30 minutes. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
I'm so bad about that.
That one frustrates me, and I also have a bad habit of opening something and then maybe never replying until I get another message. So that's something that is on the top of my mind of like, if I'm gonna open it, I need to open it at a time where I can reply. Because if I don't open it, I'll see it later. So I'm trying to walk that boundary of like, I still need to control my time. I'm not gonna reply instantly every time I get a message. But I'm also not gonna let it go 2 weeks and not reply. Like there's definitely a lot of gray area in between there. And that's like an easy thing that I can do to just kind of make little deposits, right? Like I'm probably depositing $1 or $5 bills, but it's something I can deposit into that like friendship bank. Is just try to reply and be a little bit more present there.
Yeah. It adds up over time for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you look up and then people just stop. Then you don't get messages, you don't get people reaching out, you don't get people sharing those moments where they just wanna show you a picture of something or share some information with you. Like, eventually, people just kind of, withdraw themselves back, and then you don't get anything from there. No, from like, I I've I've been that way too, and I didn't really know how to, the whole time I was kinda thinking about how I was gonna say it, but, like, I've always been the guy who, like, wants attention and wants to entertain and do all this kinda stuff, but, like, what have I really done to then turn that back and invest into other people or build them up, or like Colin was saying, like actually being there for someone. So that was a big struggle for me too, is like having to go that extra mile. That's not just texting a joke or just saying something funny or having like one good conversation, but it was like actually being present, being a good friend. And honestly, like I've been pretty surface level with that because I've never had to like support someone or like the first time I actually had to deal with that when one of my really, really good friends was going through something was Colin. Like we had our first legit conversation. I'm like a grown adult, and that's like the first time I've ever had to like truly be there for someone, and I couldn't just make them laugh through the situation. Like we legitimately, and we walked to a gas station at like midnight, but it was
Yeah.
like the best thing that we've ever done. And like by the time we got back, we literally solved the world's problems. But that finally showed me like that's how you be a good friend. It's not just make somebody giggle or tell a well time, or in my case is a poorly timed joke or anything like that, but it's like when they're going through something, okay, that's when I need to step in and be able to help so that they don't feel helpless or they don't feel like that's the only time I can be a good friend is when things are good. Because in all reality, you don't know who your friends are until you go through some crap. Like you need to go through some crap. You need to be called out by your friends because if not, those are not your real friends. So to go through that situation right there, like that really showed me like, okay, I got a big problem because that's the first time I've ever been there for one of my friends. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, that's how you be a good friend right there. Like you can have the good moments, but you better be ready to step in, most importantly, when you're needed in those moments.
Yeah, I think the biggest habit I've changed to become a better friend is like the intentionality of like if someone comes to my mind when I hear a song or a sermon
Mhm.
or a thought or a question, like I reach out to that person in that moment, even if I don't get a reply, like you said, Alex. Like it's nice to know that someone's thinking about you, and that's especially for me. Like one of my biggest flags is like I care way too much about what people think of me, and I know it, and we're working through it, whatever, blah blah blah. But like, it's nice to get like a hey, I was thinking of you today, praying for you, or like hey, this song made me think of you. Like I wish we could go do this, or dude, let's go dove hunt, Justin, or like something like that. Like you came to my mind, so I wanted to reach out like intentionally and let you know you're being thought about. So that is kind of one thing that I've been trying to change.
That's big.
I know that's why I said it.
That's what I say because I'm super important. Yeah, I just think that's so weird that you were thinking about dove hunting, and I happen to have land that you could come to and dove hunt for free, and then all of a sudden, see, it's just like things happen exactly like they're supposed to. But anyway,
I'm
um,
receiving again.
That's it, yeah, so there you go. Why don't you just do stuff for me and invite me up to go dove hunt? No, but I think if you're able to have that good balance of you can really see who your true friends are, who the people you are that are loyal to you, that don't just want access to you, but then can you turn around and look in the mirror and say, am I the type of friend that someone would want to have? Am I the friend that I would want to have? Because there's a lot of times where I've looked in the mirror and I'm like, dude, I wouldn't want to be my friend. So if you're at that point right there, how are you going to be able to expect things out of someone that you can't even look in the mirror and say, well, I wouldn't go the extra mile for anybody. So why in the world would anybody want to depend on me? So like, I just think that's a great conversation because I think it challenges a lot of people that are in certain situations where I think a lot in today's world, people are like, oh man, I have so many friends. Well, do you? Because I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like once again, kind of go back to what we talked about. I'm okay if my son only wants to have 4 or 5 really, really close friends. Because in all reality, you can think you have 1,000 Facebook friends, but at the end of the day, you can probably count on one hand at the very most how many people you can call at 2 AM and they're gonna show up for you, and I think you either realize that really, really quickly, keep those people close to the chest, or you have a lot of painful moments where you reach out to some people and they just happen to ghost you, you know?
So we've talked a lot about dependability. Is it harder for y'all to be dependable for your friends or to be vulnerable with your friends? You also talked about like being there during a
Mm,
tough time. Which one do you struggle with more?
I think to be honest, I think I wanna be extremely dependable for them, but I think it's really hard for me to be vulnerable. Like, I think there's a situation that I was kinda going through there for I mean, still kinda going through or whatever, that not a lot of people really knew about, and I didn't really wanna talk about it because, once again, I ride that fine line in my life of I don't wanna be selfish, so I don't want that to be about me. I don't need the boo-hoos, I don't need the poor me's, I don't need people focusing on me, like, when I had that moment of, oh, I can really help my friends and make them better and really be there to support them, I think I kind of swung the pendulum too far, to be honest with you. And so I think for me, it's extremely hard to be vulnerable, especially when I may be going through something personally, because I feel like that just takes time away from me having the opportunity to help and grow and kind of push my friends to be better.
yeah, I think it's
It's tough because you could really go both ways with it.
I think it's pockets of friend groups I'm different with.
Mm.
I think the
Yeah.
like my wife, I think I like we have hard talks and we can be vulnerable with each other. And I think with, Justin and those guys, like I think like the thing Justin's talking about, I think being intentional with like not vulnerable with me, but being vulnerable in that moment with him of like, okay, I'm not just gonna hear you like your upsetness. Like I'm gonna ask questions of like, why does this make you sad? Or like why does this frustrate you so bad? And better I'm better at the vulnerable than being dependable,
Mm.
which is something I've never thought about until just
It's
Yeah.
what I give this answer right now.
I would guess that that's like the minority of guys, but I don't know. That's just truly a guess.
yeah,
Like
I would
Yeah,
it's
say
I
I would
think
say
nothing.
that
so
I
too.
think that's just really hard. I think it's just really hard for guys to do nowadays because you could probably go online and hear 3 different suggestions on how to be a man, how to act like a man, how to do this, like, real guys don't cry. Well, real guys gotta show their emotions. Like, I just feel like if you can't self-reflect like I think we're able to do or have people that can kinda challenge you a little bit with those ideas, like I could only imagine how confused young men are right now. Like if I'm in my 20s right now and I'm trying to figure out all these things and I'm trying to figure out what a dependable friend is or how to be a dependable friend or how to be vulnerable or how to ask for help or how to provide help, like I'm probably so lost as a 22-year-old friend. So like for me, like it was probably perfect timing for me where I went through all my stages and everything because it was just I couldn't imagine having to do that right now. Like how lost would y'all be as a 21-year-old guy trying to be a dependable and vulnerable friend in today's world?
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it's probably not happening.
Loused in the
But
sauce.
I think most of the best conversations, and we were not doing this at 20, we were trying to find help elsewhere, whether that was going out, whether that was being dumb, whether that was, Snapchatting or messaging on social media to feel important. I think over the past year, just men sitting around a fire or men sitting on the back
Dude,
porch or men just
so good.
having, and not just like the first hour you can count as a wash. Okay. This is
Yeah,
stupid. But
yeah.
then once you're out there for an hour or more, you start like diving into some stuff and you start like having real conversation that kind of goes back to where we started of like your vulnerability and the people who you have gained access to and you allow access with plays out over the long haul rather than the temporary people that you have at work or who are passing by. The people that you invest in you, I think is the average of your 5 friends, I think.
Yeah, which is good too because I think people contribute in different ways and different capacities. Like those people at work don't take as big of a chunk as the people that you truly care about and the opinions and everything. But I think it's a necessary thing to have and to see, to experience too, because like think about the past 3 conversations we've had with our friend group together. Like when we saw each other this past weekend, and then the one before that, when it was me, you, and McKenna, like that was 3.5 hours. That
Mhm.
felt like 30 minutes worth of conversation. Now we came out with probably 28 questions. So I don't know
Yeah.
if we actually accomplished anything, but
Or
just
just
think
sit on my
about
back
like
porch, just hanging.
dude, it was
Oh,
awesome. We were sitting there too, and like we thought we were just solving the world's problems, and we were having just the most intense conversation that made me a better person through that conversation. So I think at the end of the day, like when you have someone that's loyalty, or when you have someone that's loyalty, when you have someone that's loyal to you, or you want to be loyal to someone, I think just loyalty can't be just measured by the amount of months. Like, granted, we've known each other for a lot of years, but it's also something to where we've put in that sweat equity within those years. It hasn't just been like surface level, like, hey, how are you doing? Or a smiley face or an emoji or in a text every once in a while, or sending an Instagram reel or a Snapchat that disappears after a couple hours. Anyway, I feel like it's people that truly felt like, okay, that person supports me. Like that person will push me. I think that's the best thing that you can have is a little bit of that fear of, hey, if I'm not on my game, he's going to call me out. Like he's a good enough friend to where he's going to challenge me exactly where I need to be challenged. And there's a reason why I'm going to feel as guilty as I do. So with that, we feel like we know each other, right? Like you feel like if we were to go into, I don't know, say like a 3 or 4 minute rapid fire and we ask some questions, I feel like we could probably just throw it around because I really honestly don't know. I guess we could get like a group answer. Like I'll ask the questions and maybe y'all could think like out of us three, you could probably take a guess of who it is. But then if we just really don't know, I kind of want to know some of this stuff about y'all, I guess, if that makes sense. So we'll open it up to opinions first about what we think, because I know some of these, like, it may hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's probably me. And then there's a couple where obviously like we're doing sentences and stuff like that. So that was the most exciting thing is I put specifically in the AI, I was like, hey, we do this really cool thing at the end where our guests go through a rapid fire series. Make sure that that's in there, please. So with that
Do you
being
have
said,
different ones than the ones I'm looking at right now?
about the one, it's the ones at the bottom. Yeah. It's the one that says rapid fire in all caps. Yeah,
Okay.
3 to 4 minutes. That's why I kind of threw in that little sidebar that it may take 3 or 4 minutes in the rapid fire and everything. But anyway,
Come on.
part of being a good friend is reading the same part of the same document, you know? So out of all of us, who do you think would take, which I think Alex kind of took the throne from me, but who do you think, you've literally admitted it. So who takes the longest to text back, boys?
That would be Alex.
Anybody? That would be Alex.
Probably Alex.
Yep. All in favor say aye. Yeah, aye.
I'll wear that crown.
People texted that group with Alex in it today, if that tells you anything, without a reply.
Yeah.
What
Well,
group?
that's like me. And then I learned this about my father-in-law. If you double text him, he's like, I'm out too much. He'll like put his phone down. It's just won't answer it all. So I have to be careful. Like I can't ask too many questions. Like I send one text message, but I'll see how many questions I can ask within that one. Because if I send him 2 in a row, he's like, I'm done. Put it up. Won't answer you for like 6 hours. And so I have to be very careful. I have to find that balancing act of like, okay, 15 questions is too much in one message. Got it. So if we are picking up the phone, actually, let's just say person D that's not in this right now, they're picking up the phone. They're calling one of us at 2 a.m. Who's answering? I was about to say, Colin, you're really the only one left that has any chance because my phone is so far away from me and it is silence, my guy.
Yeah,
And
y'all are
you have
asleep.
do not disturb on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Collins,
gonna
you-
say, okay.
you're probably up anyways.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you're just gonna be up, but if you're not, you have your do not disturb on, don't you?
Yeah, my do not disturb goes on at 9.
Yeah.
But
So
you
anybody
guys,
call-
and there's
call 'em
certain people who
twice.
comes through.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So if
I have y'all
if it's
turned
an
off.
important, so access versus loyalty, right? So if you're important, you get buzzed through.
Access.
You get
If
saved.
it's some random person that has a blowout on the interstate, it's going straight to voicemail.
My boss, I don't know, somebody.
I'll say, yeah. Oh, sorry, my dude.
If you're someone that doesn't have access, just call twice and you'll get through. Fun.
Exactly. So you
Well-
just have to be persistent. Really, it's just a test. Colin's just seeing how consistent you're willing to be with him to be able to get
He's
through.
not. Don't call me twice. All you little listeners who think you're funny, don't do it.
Don't call me twice. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting because I actually have no idea, and I'll be honest about my answer. But who keeps secrets the best? Any of y'all keep? Okay. So
Do not say you. You
No.
talk so much.
No. I'm gonna
Okay.
say no. Honestly, if you tell me something like legitimately important, you say, "Hey, take this to the grave." Me and McKenna will take it to the grave. But like
that's
you
fair.
will you
Yeah.
can always assume that I will tell my wife anything and everything. But if you really do tell me something, like I've held some secrets even within our friend group sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one other person in my life that will know almost immediately, and if I can't get to my phone, as soon as I see her face to face, she will know. So if you tell me a secret, just understand that I'll take it to the grave, but my smoking hot wife's going to be right there with me too. So I
Colin,
don't
do you
really
tell
hold a
your wife?
secret very well outside of that.
Yo, yeah. It's not gossip if you're married.
Yeah. That's just an
Yeah.
assumed rule. If you tell me, you're telling the house. Like,
100%, 100%. Like somebody kind of like
This is what I'm talking
Pointed
about,
out-
Alex. He's about to spill.
Yeah, dude. Somebody told me this super crazy secret that they frauded the government like millions of dollars. No, someone did that like to us one time. They talked to my wife about me, like kind of complaining about me or whatever. And McKenna's sitting there thinking, like, you don't think I'm gonna go home to the person that I live with and I'm married with, and I'm not going to tell them? Like, that's kind of weird. So I think, like, to me, I always assume that if I tell husband something, wife is probably gonna know too. So if I'm ever talking about your wife, then obviously I just won't say anything. If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Am I right?
You wouldn't be the first. It's all right.
That's funny. Okay. Well, I guess this is something that we just all kind of answer. What's one trait that immediately builds trust? Ooh,
One trait that immediately builds trust.
immediately builds trust.
I'll say like remembering things like birthdays, anniversaries.
Yeah,
I have one
that's
friend
good.
who's really good about that stuff.
God, I'm terrible at that. Sorry, Alex, you'd hate me. I'm
No,
like, what's your name again?
I'm horrible at it too. Not to tell on myself, but I forgot my own wife's birthday one time. That's how bad I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget that.
Yeah.
That's a one and
Lesson
done
learned.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. McKenna quizzed me one time on our first dance song at our wedding, most important moment of our life, and the one that we danced at the reception to, and I got both of them wrong. I went 0 for 2. She was so mad, dude. She was so mad. No, I think for me, it's I do like how people do that. And it's so ironic too, because I'm this is like my biggest downfall that I'm trying to work on. But like I like people that can be kind of vulnerable with you, like especially men that aren't like that cool guy, like someone that can talk to you and not just feel like there's just tension right away just because we're two guys talking to each other. Like I like people that can break down walls immediately because I'm that type of guy. So if you hate
Yeah.
me, you probably really hate me. Or if you're singing Disney songs on the bus or something like that, you probably hate me like right away.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. I think a lot of people
It's
are
a
hating me
great-
is what I'm learning in this podcast. Yeah. So me and Ryan are not well received. Got it. All right. So spinning off, what is one trait that immediately breaks trust? And my first thought goes to like, and I think it's an obvious answer, but like if we catch you in a lie about something important, it's hard to regain that trust.
Yes.
I think that happens more than we think, but when you get caught in the lie of something that's not something like, oh yeah, I took out the trash, but something that genuinely matters, it's hard to
Yeah.
repair that trust if I think that person may be
That's what
lying.
That's what I was thinking because like there could be like little stuff where I'm like, oh, I just don't want to get yelled at by my wife. So I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely took that, like did this and this. But like you're right. And not only do you catch them, like they continue to lie to your face. Like that for me is almost like a moment where I'm like, I kind of see red a little bit. I'm like, that's just like why? Like, I'm just really bad about that with my kids right now because they're going through a lying phase where they'll look right at you and lie straight through their teeth. And you're like, dude, like that's weird. Definitely not going to do that. But I think like not only do you catch them, but they double. Yeah, and then I punch him. No, but then like you catch them in the lie and then they double down. And it's like, dude, come on now. Like we've got a lot of equity built up right here. Like let's not, because that could be a real way to cut through pretty quick. No
Or
doubt.
you know they're lying, and then you get together with that person, and they're acting like nothing is happening
Yeah,
and nothing's wrong.
yeah.
Like,
That can make things
know.
very uncomfortable very quick. Dang, that's crazy. All right, let's do a little fill in the blank, boys. So Alex, we'll start with you. Finish this sentence. A real friend.
Are you smart?
Let's get
That's
the
staying
let's get
for
the guy with the
sure.
speech impediment to do this right here. Okay, Alex, this is take one. Hey, let's play a little game called Finish This Sentence. A real friend always
Laughs at you.
laughs at you when you can't talk like an idiot.
I would say shows up. We've talked a lot about being dependable. Maybe always is strong, but yeah, they show up when you need them.
Colin?
Oh, I get the same question.
Yeah,
A real friend
dude.
tells me when it's my turn to.
Hey, a real friend is not a terrible host of Finish This Sentence.
I think a real friend always has your best interest in heart, even if it's not the easiest thing to
Oof.
say or do.
That's good.
That's kind of where I was going. I was like, a real friend
Okay,
can always.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So like my
That's
answer is kind of
original
like yours, but
ideas.
it's a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna say is that a real friend is Colin Rutherford. No,
And that's good times, bad friends.
no, I think a real friend can always, I wouldn't say put you in your place, but can have hard conversations. I think a real friend at the end of the day, and like I'm serious, like that was a huge revelation that I had with you that one time that just really set me straight of like, oh, that's what a real friend can do. Like it can be there, he can be there, that your friend can be there in a moment where you just need somebody. You don't need a solution, you don't need the perfect answer, you just need somebody. So I think that's when a real friend always shows up. Ooh, Colin, you
always
should
show
take
up
this
with
next
good
one because
internet.
you've been focusing. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
change podcast locations 100,000 times. And
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways from today's conversation is that access and loyalty aren't the same thing, right? I think
amen.
the people who know you the most or who know the most about you
Yeah,
aren't
talking's
always
not
the
that
people
easy, is it? There,
who
big
care
guy.
about you. So our challenge this week is simple. Don't just ask yourself, who are my real ones? Ask yourself, am I a real one for somebody else? And that's where we'll leave you today. If this conversation made you think of someone who's been that kind of friend in your life, send them a text. We talked about it earlier. Be intentional with the people you need to be intentional with. It goes a long way. Let them know that you appreciate them. And, of course, shameless plug, if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you'd help us grow the community by subscribing, following the show. Leaving a rating is huge. Just hit 5 stars. Say, Colin's great, Alex a second, Justin doesn't show. And then sharing this episode with a friend. Word of mouth has been the biggest reason our podcast continues to grow, and we're grateful every time you share it. Sidebar, all of you who shared all of Gail's reels and TikToks have made our podcast blow up the past month. So thank you so much for being intentional with our
Being a real
time
one.
and effort and helping us share. So comment, like, subscribe, share. Next week, we'll continue to dive into real ones by talking about something every friendship eventually faces. When friends drift apart, why does it happen? Is it always a bad thing? And how do you know when to fight for friendship versus letting it go? So until then, get your brains thinking. We'll see you next time on Good Times, Bad Friends.
Colin messed up his words too.
Good times, bad friends.